by taking a great polygonal plane, okay, which will be the cloth. Okay. So I'll start by the basics here, okay, of the cloth system, or which is called as nCloth, if you can check here. Okay. nCloth, n particles and n hair all can interact with each other because they are the same systems. Okay. They're deliberately kept as the same because they can kind of nicely interact with each other. So that's why they are all n systems. Okay. So I have this simple plane. I'll just add some segments here. Okay. Not too many, not too less. Okay. I'll keep them optimum for now. Okay. Let's say around a resolution of let's say 37. Okay. And I'll also create a polygonal cylinder. Just create a polygonal cylinder here. A polygonal cylinder will be the object on where the cloth will collide. Okay, so this will be the object on where the cloth will collide. Okay. Probably this can be a dining table. I don't know. Okay. Probably this can be a dining table right now, on which I need a cloth to nicely treat. So in some cases you probably need not exactly a close simulation to happen, but probably you're creating or modeling an interior where you need a stable looking cloth, okay, a still cloth, nicely wrapped around the table. Okay, so I have the same table. Yeah. And what you can do is just increase the subdivisions in the table and also use edge in this case. Okay, so just right click and just go on the right view, select these edges. I don't need the edges in between. Also don't need the edges on the top to be selected, so I go to the wireframe and control L to be selected. Okay, just add a bevel around this so that the cloth doesn't like stick to the edge. That's what normally would happen. Okay, so what I'll do is go to the modeling menu and just give it a bevel, so, slight bit of bevel in there. Okay, so mesh tool, let's look for the bevel option. It must be around here. Okay, there it is. Okay, so I'll just give it a little bevel. You can decide how much of bevel you want. I'll give it a slight bevel. Okay, probably just add a few segments in there. Okay, just close it. Fine. So now let's make this a cloth. Okay, very simple. In FX menu, nCloth, create nCloth. It's that simple. Okay, let's take a look at what's happening in the outliner. So if I go into the outliner, you have this polyplane. So when I apply nCloth on it, let's create nCloth from it. Okay, it creates some nodes. It creates a node like a nucleus and nCloth node, two nodes. Okay, nucleus is the system on which we'll be working with, which if you say Control A, okay, you have some very basic and important properties on this. Okay, where you will see that it has the gravity element already applied to it. Okay, so that is going to work. You have ground plane which you can turn it on. Later we'll see that, and some of the scale attributes here. So we'll be going through that. You also have nCloth shape node, okay, where you will also get some of the properties which can control the properties for the cloth. Okay, so I do have some presets in here. So if I click on this presets, okay, you have this small star symbol where you can change the property of that particular cloth. Okay, you can change it to airbag, and just does nothing but changes some parameters inside this. Okay, that's what it does. So that's how the cloth will differ. The parameters are changed. Okay, so let's play this. Let's see what happens when I play this. Okay, let me just turn on this so that you can see it clearly. Let me turn on the edge faces, and then when I play it, you will see the cloth falls down. Okay, but it just goes through it because though you have defined the cloth, you have not defined the collision object. So I need to also define a collision object here, that is the table. Select the table, go to nCloth, and there is something called as create passive collider. So if I click on it, you get another node added here, which is nRigid, and what it does basically, it has again some properties which controls the friction on this, the bounciness, the dampening, all those properties on the table. So if I play it now, the the plane nicely collides with it. Now it's not a plane anymore, it's a cloth. Okay, you can see nicely it drapes over it. Okay, I'll just stop it here. Okay, just before you go through all the simulations, you can check it in the settings preference. In the preferences, just check it before you do all the simulation. Check it if it is a play every frame and real time ready for this. Okay, for any kind of dynamics you need to always check this because it needs to evaluate at every frame, so that is very important. Okay, play every frame will ensure that it is actually playing every frame and it's calculating at every uh, frame, and real time will ensure that it's going at 24 frames per second. Okay, so just save those settings and then let's continue from here on. You can see the cloth nicely simulating. Okay, now the problem in this case is if you need a still draped cloth of this type, and if I go to frame 0 once again, it will go back to its uh, origin. Okay, it's good. So what if I want to keep it at the place which is looking good, which is the best, okay, which looks best actually. So let's find that best place. Okay, this. So probably this is the best of the cloth which I want. Okay, place cloth. Okay, so I will stop it here, say for example, and then I don't know. I want to keep it at this position. Okay, so what you need to do is just need to select the cloth, go to fusion or solver, and just say initial state set for selected. So if I click on it right now, okay, what will happen if I go back to my frame 1? You will see that the cloth is in its place and it's not coming back to its original. But if I play from there on, the animation will still continue on the screen. Okay, so that's how the cloth is working. Okay, you understand? Okay, so yes, so those are the properties. Now you have some more properties here, like say, as I told you, nucleus shape node, where you can uh, use the gravity is already on. There's no wind speed as such. So wind speed has been turned off. So you can have your own wind speed here. So let me just turn on the wind speed. Okay, a little. Let me take it to 10. And now if I play, you will find that there is a wind basically in one direction, and that wind is actually forcing the cloth to uh, do this movement. Okay, if you check, just turn on the edge faces so that you see what exactly is happening here. Okay. And the reason behind the wind acting in one direction is because of its direction here. Okay, it's actually acting in X direction. If you take a look, it's blowing on this side because it's 1. Okay, here. So if I just make it 0 and make wind blow in Y direction, that is positive Y direction, let's see what happens. Okay, it will actually it will be like blowing the wind blowing from below actually. That's so the wind is getting applied from the bottom, and definitely it will move up in the space. Okay, so there it is. Okay, fine. Now you can control how the cloth would basically behave. Okay, in the sense, say for example, I want the cloth. Say probably somebody holding the cloth from one end, and then um, it won't move. Okay, even then there is even if though there is a wind applied, not if you saw it just right now, what happened is that the cloth moved on the left here. Okay, so what do I do to control it, or somebody catching hold of it? Okay, it's very simple. What you just need to do is select the cloth, go to the vertex, select these points. Okay, select the component level, and then you can go and apply n constraint. Now n constraints, again you can see, take a look, that's n, so nucleus. So this constrains us for the nucleus system. So if you go to the n constraint and apply a constraint called as transform constraint inside this, what it will do is basically add, if you check the outline once again, it will add a dynamic constraint, and that dynamic constraint nothing but a transform constraint. So if I now play it, let's see what happens. It will hold it from that end. So even if there is a wind which is getting applied from below, okay, the transform constraint will tend to hold that end, okay, and then won't allow the object to just fly off. Okay, okay, so as you can see that as the wind gets applied from below, uh, the one end of the cloth is being pulled by that constraint, and then you can see it's not getting anywhere. So you can apply as many as constraint you want on any sides. Okay, so just stop it here. You can, let's go back once again, and I'll delete the constraint. So I'll delete the dynamic constraint. I'll come back to the dynamic constraint once again. Okay, now you can see that the cloth here is basically evaluating at every time right now. What is happening when I play it? Every time when I play it, it gets evaluated. Okay, that means it's going so very slowly. That means it's evaluating. If I just drag it like this or drag it behind, you can see nothing is happening. Okay, that means at what happens when I play it, it starts evaluating at every frame. If I go behind, it doesn't do that. Okay, so it doesn't work in the reverse fashion. Now in some way later on, I want this to bake up. I want to bake this up in the sense that I don't want to calculate it every time. Okay, so for example, I'm working in a studio. I will need the data in some different machine, okay, for my final renders. Okay, so I don't want it to happen that when I play on that machine, I don't get any simulations. Okay, because then again it needs to evaluate in that machines. Okay, so what do I need to do is just bake out this. Or the simple term for this is called as caching. So it will cache out the data, and it will store the the point data or the vertex data in a format. Okay, and that is called as caching. So you have an AND cache here, if you take a look. Goes true for every N system. So if I just say create new cache, okay, on an object, it will actually save the vertex position data for all of the vertices in this code. So I can specify where I need to save it. So I can just save it in the default folder, or I can just kind of name it and save it in another folder. Okay, so right now let me just save it in the default folder. You name it whatever you want. Okay, here, and I'll just save it for now, just to make this quick. Okay, and you can see now it's actually saving the data. Okay, it's creating a cache. The next time when you play it, it will be a lot more smoother, because then it's not calculating, it's just sourcing that um, cache from that particular folder, or that vertex data from that particular folder. Okay, so let the simulation play on till 200. Okay, and by default take the timeline number here till 200. So if it is 100, play till 100. If it is 200, play till 200. Or you can specify it in the option. Okay, so now let me play it. Okay, if you take a look, and if I play it, this is much more easier. Now you can see it's not taking as much as time. And if I just manually drag this over my timeline, you can see it's working in both the ways. That means the cache data is now saved in that folder. So if you just go, I think it was in D drive somewhere. I don't know, I don't remember. So it must be saved in some folder here. Okay, I don't remember where it was. Okay, so just want to check it. Let's go back and check it. So if I just select, go to nCache, create new cache, the option box, D renders cache. So it's been saved there. Okay. So D render cache, there it is. If you delete this data, again you will have to cache it off. Okay. Now, after the fact, I realized that whatever I have done doesn't suit my purpose, or I want to change some parameters in this. So what do? Okay, you will need to delete that cache and redo whatever you need. You need to change the parameters. You change the parameters. Okay. So for now, say for example, I want to remove this and change some parameters. Okay. Say for example, again I want to apply a constraint to it. Okay. So what would I do then is go to the nCache and delete the cache. So if I just select the object and delete the cache. Okay, let me check it once again. If I play, now if you see, it has become slow now again, because it's now starting to calculate again. So you can do whatever changes you want to this, and then probably again you can cache it out. So that's how you can create a cache and then delete cache and redo your simulations based on what you want. Okay, fine. Next thing is you might want the cloth, the display of the cloth which you are looking at right now, it's very thin. You don't have a thickness to it. So what you can do is, before actually caching it, you can actually create a thickness to your cloth. That is simple. That is by using because we already have, I suppose, yeah. So it's not cached again. So yeah, again I'll have to cache it and then redo the stuff. Okay. So what you do is, before doing all the display properties of this, before controlling the display or the thickness for this, or even giving smoothness, because not yet smooth. Okay, you have an optimal segment. I'll also have to smooth it out to look its best. Okay, so before that you cache it, of course. So I'll just do one more cache, and this time I'll just want the cache to be till 100 probably. So go into the attributes and specify. So right now what it's doing is taking the time slider. You can specify start and end, and specify it till 100 frames, and just say create cache. Okay, and then remember the cache file is still there. Okay, even if you delete it from the nCloth, it's still there in the folder. So what will I do is either rename it, just auto rename, cancel, or just replace the existing. What I'll do is just replace. I don't want to create different versions for it. So what I'll do is just replace the existing. So it will override on the existing ones and create a new one this time. Okay. And once the whole thing is done, what I can do is basically add a thickness to the cloth and even smoothen it, because you don't want the other side of the cloth to be black. Okay, because this is just a simple plane, and the normals are just on one side. The chances that you will have a dark side on one end. So I really want some thickness to this, along with a little bit of smoothness going on. Okay, so that's what I'll do. Once I've cached it, then you can extrude it. Yes. Just extrude it. Okay, well. Z direction. Okay, extrude it. Okay, so once you are done with the extrude, I can even smoothen it also. I can give it smooth actually. Yeah, smooth. Okay, so it becomes smooth. And you will see even after the fact, the faces have been double, the vertices have been double. You also applied smooth on it. After the fact, it's still lot more smoother. You can see if you take a look. So it's very light because it's just calculating the simulations on just one side of the plane, not on the other side. Okay, so that's how you. Some of these are some of the properties of the cloth. Okay, we'll go a little bit of detail of the cloth in the next chapter. Okay.